We have shocking trade rumors to discuss in this episode of Islanders Digest, as there are rumors that the Islanders are in escalating talks with the New Jersey Devils to send one of their top defensemen to the Devils in exchange for a young player. We're going to be talking about that in this episode of Islanders Digest and some other trade rumors that this Islanders player has been involved with. But before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be one of our first 100 subscribers. If you're an Islander fan and you want more Islanders news, rumors, prospect reports, all that fun stuff, be sure to subscribe to this channel. It is the channel for you. With that, let's get right into these rumors, because I was genuinely shocked when I saw this rumor, and we do have to take it with a grain of salt. This comes from a hockey trade rumor account, but I have done some sniffing around the account. They don't seem to spread random information that often. They do seem, I don't want to say reliable, but they do seem to only talk about things when they do think something is happening. They were somewhat accurate when it came to the Trouba deal with the New York Rangers, when it came to him potentially being put on waivers before he ends up getting traded to Anaheim. So, that being said, even if this is not a true report, there are over 42,000 views that this post got. So I think it is definitely worth talking about, and that is, according to this rumor, the Islanders and Devils are discussing a major blockbuster deal centered around Simon Nemec and Noah Dobson. And from the looks of this report, it is New Jersey that is driving these talks. Now, at first, I thought this was absolutely ridiculous. Why would the Islanders trade Noah Dobson to the Devils, first of all, in exchange for Simon Nemec? But the more I thought about it, the more I figured that maybe this is not as crazy as I first thought. First of all, I do want to say I love Noah Dobson. I personally do not want the Islanders to trade Noah Dobson, but where there is definitely truth is the Islanders are shopping Noah Dobson. That has been very clear. Several well-reputable reporters have reported that the Islanders are shopping around Noah Dobson, so it makes sense for a team like the Devils to call the Islanders on a player like Noah Dobson. The Devils are looking to really make a push, not just they're going to make the playoffs, but they're looking to really make a push, make a statement in this playoffs. And in the previous few weeks, they have been struggling a bit with their defense. Obviously, Dougie Hamilton is their top defenseman, and he's been playing great for the Devils, but they are dealing with some injuries down the line, and recently in games, when given a chance, Simon Nemec has really struggled to make the Devils roster. So you can definitely see why the Devils would be interested in this trade. Adding a defenseman like Noah Dobson, where they could add points into their lineup, would be huge. Noah Dobson is really good at producing from the point, and while the Devils do have offense from their defense, the Devils are looking for offense. And another thing about Dobson is he also plays solid defensively. A big complaint with the Islanders with Noah Dobson, as he has not taken that step towards being their top number one defenseman, and they're concerned about paying him number one defenseman numbers if he is not really stepping into that role. With the Devils, Dougie Hamilton is their top defenseman, so maybe they see Noah Dobson as a really good complementary piece, a piece who can play 20 minutes a game, but not really play against the other team's top players. So this is definitely really interesting. I definitely think it does make sense for the Devils. The question is, does it make sense for our Islanders? And I'm going to get right into that right now. So first, we're going to go through Simon Nemec's numbers. If you don't know who Simon Nemec is, he is a very young defenseman. He was a second overall pick in 2022. I typically don't really like to talk about when players are drafted, especially when talking about trading them or how much money they should receive, because really after you're drafted, the place you were drafted really does not matter that much. What does matter is how you produce as a player. And Nemec has struggled. He's really struggled to make the Devils lineup, even when they're currently hurting with injuries. His first season on the Devils, 2023-2024, which very impressive for the record, being a 21-year-old player and already having 2 seasons where you've played NHL minutes is very impressive. I do want to say that before we look at his numbers. Nothing really stands out about his numbers. In his first season, he put up about 20 points, 3 goals, 16 assists. This year, he has really struggled a bit more. Granted, the Devils have been a lot more of a competitive team last year. Last year, they've really struggled. This year, it's going to take a lot more effort to make the Devils lineup. And while he has been putting up very strong numbers in the AHL, he hasn't really taken that step up to be a full-time NHL defenseman. Now, obviously, Islander fans are probably not going to be too happy about trading one of their top defensemen for a player who's not even cracking the NHL. But there's definitely more to analyze when we're talking about this player, and there's definitely a lot of potential when it comes to Simon Nemec. This is a player who was drafted second overall for a reason. He has a lot of talent, and I'm really wondering if maybe the Islanders see that Simon Nemec has the potential to be a #1 defenseman, while Noah Dobson simply does not. We're going to take a quick look at Noah Dobson's stats, and one thing I really notice is that Simon Nemec's early stats in his career are really similar to Noah Dobson's early stats in his 2020-2021 season, where he played 46 games, put up 11 points. Really was not a significant factor for the Islanders, but you saw the potential. And that's really where I think this is an interesting conversation, because we saw the next year after that, Noah Dobson took a huge step when he went from 21 to 22. He really took a huge step and became a 51-point defenseman. From there, he's taken another step. Now Noah Dobson has kind of taken a step back, but I really wonder if the Islanders are looking at this as a situation where maybe Simon Nemec can develop to be a player that Noah Dobson is not looking like he is going to be. I still think Noah Dobson has more potential, but I am personally really starting to question whether Noah Dobson has what it takes to be a #1 defenseman. He has shown flashes, but the problem is the Islanders have to extend him this year. This is his contract year. The Islanders are likely going to try to extend him for the next 8 years. I really don't want to give a player an $8 or $9 million contract off of flashes. Even if it's a $7 million contract, that is a lot of money for a player who has taken a big step this year, and you really don't know what Noah Dobson you're going to get. For the Devils, it might make more sense to trade for Noah Dobson and take that risk. The Devils are in a position to win right now. Having Noah Dobson on their roster this year would help them win, and while Simon Nemec is younger than Noah Dobson is still 24 years old. So I definitely can see how this makes sense for the Devils. Now, if this trade were to happen, I would definitely think the Devils would have to be sending more pieces coming back. As of what we know right now, Noah Dobson is the best player involved in these trade talks. So I would definitely think the Devils would need to probably send another one of their better prospects in this deal, if not one of their picks. Although I have a feeling the Islanders are more interested in prospects than picks. I don't think Lou Lamoriello wants to fully restart unless he sees another trade where he can take some draft capital and move it for another player. Now, initially, when the Noah Dobson trade rumors came out, there was rumors that he was being shopped, but there really have not been that many rumors in what exactly the Islanders are looking for. A lot of people assume they were looking for a scoring forward. After all, the Islanders have been looking for a scoring forward forever, it feels like, at this point. They cannot seem to find that player who can consistently put the puck in the net next to Matt Barzal and really bring this offense alive. Really, bring it alive. The power play, they desperately need a scoring forward. That's initially what people thought the Islanders might be looking for in exchange for Noah Dobson. But what I find really interesting about this rumor, if it's true, is perhaps the Islanders are thinking a little differently. One thing I was definitely concerned about when it came to trading Noah Dobson is what the Islanders' future would look like on defense. Because while Noah Dobson has been a frustrating player, he is a very valuable defenseman. And my biggest concern, if we traded a defenseman for a more offensive player, then the Islanders would likely be missing out on defense in the future. Some of the players that have been linked so far in the Noah Dobson trade rumors by more reputable sources have been players such as Elias Pettersson, a player who has really struggled this year. He did have a 100-point season a couple years ago. He really has not been that player this year, making a lot of money. Definitely concerned about that. Another player who has been linked to him has been Jordan Kyrou, who I thought would be another great fit for the Islanders, but he doesn't really offer that point production that I'd really want to see from a player who we would trade our top defenseman for, a defenseman who has a ton of potential from the point. I really don't want to trade Noah Dobson, a player who has scored 70 points from the point, for a player who's scored 70 points on forward. Yes, Kyrou is a great player. I am interested, but for trading Noah Dobson, I definitely don't think that's the right value. So I wonder if maybe Lou Lamoriello is kind of considering trading Noah Dobson for a player who can potentially be a better defenseman in the future. And one thing I've really thought about when really digesting this trade over the past few, or this potential trade over the past few hours, is maybe the best way to get more offense for the New York Islanders next season is by saving the money that they would have had to spend on Noah Dobson and getting a cheaper option on defense. Because one thing about Simon Nemec is next season he's going to be playing on the last year of his rookie contract. He's not going to be making a lot of money, and because of that, if the Islanders were to trade Noah Dobson for him, they would have a good $6 million or even $7 million when you consider the offset of their contracts to spend on a free agent who could potentially provide more offense. And I think that is definitely a more appealing option. I know, not to get too excited, but I know Mikko Rantanen is available for free agency this offseason. I definitely think that is a more compelling option if the Islanders are going to try to improve their offense than somebody like Elias Pettersson or Jordan Kyrou would be. I definitely think those are two good players, but for trading Noah Dobson, I don't know if that makes sense. So if the Islanders really are hesitant to give Noah Dobson a bigger contract, maybe a trade like this where they get a younger defenseman or a defenseman with similar potential, but they have more time before they have to offer a contract, maybe that makes sense. That being said, let me know what you think about this trade rumor. Do you think you would be happy if the New York Islanders traded Noah Dobson for a package including Simon Nemec? Let me know your thoughts in that on the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, let's go Islanders.